Hello, everyone. My name is Philip Ng, and this is Group E, and our presentation is on Uber. Group members are Cal Adams, Andy Bray, Christopher Johns, Jamie Gibber, and myself. A little bit of an introduction to Uber. The official company name is Uber Technologies Incorporated. They are traded on the New York Stock Exchange under Uber, UBER, and founded in 2009 in San Francisco. Currently, there are 26,900 employees, and Uber is available in over 10,000 cities around the world. They are committed to going fully electric by 2040, with 100% of their rides producing zero emissions. Uber is listed as company number 228 on the Fortune 500. Uber has four reportable segments that we will discuss. The first one is mobility, and that has to do with their ride sharing service, as well as their main core component of revenue. The second segment is delivery, and this is where Uber Eats is, and it's their fastest growing segment. The third is freight, which is focused on efficiency and logistics for the freight industry. And the last segment is advanced technology, which is responsible for developing autonomous vehicle and ride sharing. The first segment is the mobility segment. Under the mobility segment is ride sharing. And at Uber, this is their most prominent feature. A tap of a button to get a ride. Ride sharing is the original Uber product that continues to move millions of people around the world every day. At the heart of Uber is its ride sharing service, and this provides on-demand transportation services to get from point A to point B. Rides are available 24/7. Uber's mobility segment is arguably one of the most important segments. Their largest source of revenue is in its ride-hailing business, which is also the only segment that earns a profit. If we look at the chart of segment breakdown, you can see that rides or mobility takes up 55% of Uber's revenue. This chart shows the current and projected number of ride-sharing users globally. Numbers are expressed in millions. If you look at 2015, there was about 207 million riders, and that number has since doubled. And for 2021, projected to be 539.49 million users. As the number of ride-sharing users increase, there is an exponential growth. If we look at the chart, the gross bookings and revenues are all increasing rapidly. However, this does come at a price. The operating loss each year continues to grow. For 2019, Uber is operating at a loss of $8.6 billion. Current issues Uber faces with its mobility sector, the impact COVID has, there are less riders, there's increased driver safety concerns, legal, employees instead of independent contractors. In California, there are laws being passed to make Uber drivers employees, which can have several tax implications. There are also operational risks involved with expanding into other countries, and also struggles with profitability as we've seen from the previous. Uber's current strategies include partnerships. Partners such as Apple Music, American Express, and Tesla. Currently, Uber users can earn rewards and redeem for free months worth of Apple Music streaming service. With American Express, certain card benefits allow Uber credits each month to be used for rides. Tesla owners, when getting their vehicle service, will be able to use Uber credit complimentary of the company. Other strategies include gaining new riders from dissatisfied taxi markets. For example, in Las Vegas, many Uber drivers are now gaining benefit from decreased taxis. Another strategy is more drivers in more areas will allow shorter wait times for riders. And lastly, shifting to all electric will reduce costs and increase profits for drivers. Uber's mission statement is transportation as reliable as running water, everywhere for everyone. Their vision statement: we welcome people from all backgrounds who seek the opportunity to help build a future where everyone and everything can move independently. If you have the curiosity, passion, and collaborative spirit, work with us, and let's move the world forward together. With the ongoing COVID pandemic, Uber is trying different routes, pun intended, and is shifting to food delivery. Here you can see the growth in their delivery sector and also their freight sector. We will now talk about their delivery sector.
Uber Eats, Uber's delivery segment. Launched in 2014, Uber Eats is a mobile and online platform for ordering food from local restaurants to be delivered right to your door. Uber Eats generates revenue through three main streams. They charge participating restaurants a one-time payment and a commission fee of around 30%. For customers, they charge a delivery or service fee of around 15% and an additional fee if the order is under $10. On top of these two main revenue streams, Uber Eats charges customers an optional monthly subscription fee to receive a certain discount percentage for the entire month. In 2020, Uber Eats earned over $4.8 billion in revenue. However, with the high cost of operations, including driver's wages, processing payments, and more, Uber Eats remains unprofitable. One explanation for Uber Eats' recurring net loss is how rapidly the company has expanded. In 2017, Uber Eats was available in only 120 cities. Today, you can order from the app in over 6,000 cities. During the same 4-year time span, the company more than doubled its US market share and increased its number of users by over 700%. The company's growth has been possible due to major contributions from investors who are attracted to the promising growth of the mobile food delivery market. In March of 2020, Uber Eats saw a 30% rise in new customers as people avoided social interaction from fear of COVID-19. The company experienced the most amount of growth in 2020 and almost reached $5 billion in revenue. The acquisition of Postmates also helped increase Uber Eats' market share. The value of the global food delivery app market is projected to exceed $150 billion within the next 2 years. The increase in food delivery app usage since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic is predicted to remain. With stay-at-home orders and restricted restaurant capacity, many consumers used food delivery apps for the first time. Now that customers have experienced the convenience of ordering food from their favorite restaurants from the comfort of their home, they will continue to use food delivery apps even when restaurants return to full capacity. As you can see, Grubhub was the US market leader in 2016, but is currently in third place behind Uber Eats and DoorDash. DoorDash has quickly become Uber Eats' top competitor. Eats needs to find a way to increase its market share. Current issues. As discussed, Uber Eats remains unprofitable despite revenue growth. Uber Eats increased its bookings by 200% over the past year. However, in just 3 months of operations, Uber as a whole spent roughly $700 million on its operations and posted losses of $1 billion. In order to aggressively expand and dominate more of the market, Uber has been cutting its profit margins even more. Grubhub, on the other hand, one of Uber's top competitors, is profitable. Though Eats provides value to consumers in the form of convenient food delivery, it does not provide value to its restaurant partners and delivery partners. Restaurant fees hurt restaurants' already slim margins. Although Uber Eats argues that the platform increases sales, the 30% fee is steep for small restaurants regardless of the increase in orders. Eats cannot sustainably run price promotions in order to grow. It creates a shallow relationship between consumers and Eats, as consumers will leave the platform if another company offers a lower price. Now we'll discuss Uber Eats' current strategies. Lead market or leave market. Uber wants to be number 1 or 2 in any market, or they're getting out. Uber's CEO said during a recent earnings call, "Our strategy for Eats is simple. Invest aggressively into markets where we're confident we can establish or defend a number 1 or number 2 position over the next 18 months. We're going to shoot to get to number 1 and number 2 in every market that we're in. If we can't make it to that level, we'll look to dispose or we'll get out of the market." Developing synergies between their rides and Eats segments is a large part of Uber's growth plans going forward. During an event in September, Uber announced plans to incorporate Eats into its main app. What's most exciting to Uber executives is that many Eats customers don't even use the ride-hailing service. Last year, 4 out of every 10 people who used Eats were new to Uber, giving the company access to fresh customers who might later be convinced to give the car service a try. Our proposed strategies. The first proposed strategy, and maybe the most controversial, is to eliminate restaurant fees in exchange for exclusivity. Uber Eats cannot possibly create a sustainable relationship with restaurants when their margins are already so slim. By eliminating fees, Uber Eats can not only incentivize more restaurants onto its platform, but also keep existing ones from leaving or creating competitors. It also prevents other delivery apps from gaining market share, as exclusivity deals will prevent restaurants from delivering with other companies. Instead of delivery fees, Uber can charge restaurants in other ways, such as marketing opportunities, promotions, and priority delivery. Uber Eats' customer strategy has to hinge around marketing to high-value customers while creating loyalty within its platform. We suggest that Uber Eats charges customers a fee when ordering on the app to make up lost revenue from the restaurant fee. Now, this will definitely alienate many consumers. However, those are unprofitable customers. They provide no profit potential as they seek the lowest possible price. However, businesses and high-income individuals are able to eat the cost of delivery fees. This is the segment of customers that Eats should cater to. Customers with deep pockets and high repeat potential. To sweeten the deal, Eats should also roll up subscription service for its customers, allowing them a fee waiver in exchange for a monthly fixed fee. For customers that order frequently, it will create additional value and incentivize them to repeat their orders on the Eats platform. And lastly, Uber Eats must create value for its delivery drivers. The biggest issues tackling drivers is low wage potential and disloyalty among delivery apps. To alleviate this issue, Uber Eats should start a driver loyalty program. This program will increase wages the more they deliver, incentivizing drivers to consistently deliver for Eats. The more a driver delivers on a consistent basis, the more potential they have to generate more wages. This system will not only reward loyalty, but also mitigate new and inexperienced drivers from reducing delivery speed. To truly build a successful delivery platform, one has to focus on generating value for their partners.
Uber's next reportable segment is the freight segment. Uber launched its freight segment in 2017 with the primary goal to connect truck drivers to shippers looking to move freight throughout the country. The primary benefit that Uber was looking to provide was giving carriers upfront transparent pricing and the ability to book shipment quickly, easily, and in a user-friendly manner. The freight segment is only a small portion of Uber's total revenue. You can see from the slide that it was about 9% of their total revenue during 2020. However, it is growing rapidly. It's up about 38.3% from 2019, which shows that it's a rapidly growing segment, although it contributes to a small portion of the total revenue. Before getting into the number of benefits that Uber Freight provides, it's really important to understand the environmental opportunity that Uber Freight sought to take advantage of. The freight industry today is highly fragmented and deeply inefficient. It can take several hours, sometimes even days, for shippers to find a truck and a driver for shipments, with most of the process being conducted over the phone or by fax. Procurement is highly fragmented, with traditional players relying on local or regional offices to book shipments. It's equally difficult for carriers to find and book the shipments that work for their businesses, spending hours on the phone negotiating prices and terms. These inefficiencies adversely impact both shippers and carriers and contribute to the number of non-revenue or deadhead miles, which are miles driven by carriers between shipments. Uber Freight greatly reduces friction in the logistics industry by providing an on-demand platform to automate and accelerate logistics transactions end-to-end. Freight connects carriers with shippers available on the platform and gives carriers upfront transparent pricing and the ability to book a shipment with the touch of a button. Uber Freight serves shippers ranging from small and medium-sized businesses to global enterprises by enabling them to create and tender shipments with just a few clicks, secure capacity on demand with upfront pricing, and track those shipments in real time from pickup to delivery. Those factors represent significant efficiency improvements over traditional freight brokerage providers. And all of this really was a way for Uber to take advantage of the environmental opportunities in the freight industry and in the logistics industry and diversify its own products to serve those opportunities. The freight segment competes with global and North American freight brokers, and there are a number of examples that you can see here on the slide. But again, reiterating what was mentioned in the previous slide, Uber really has a leg up on its competition, given its product and technology that it has from its other segments. And the cost that Uber faces in implementing these technologies is much lower than what it would cost its competition to implement these technologies, because they are already utilizing these technologies. They are already utilizing them in other segments in their business. So the cost of entry for Uber is much lower in comparison to its competition, which has allowed it to thrive in the market that it's in. There are a number of risks that this segment faces. First and foremost, its failure to upgrade its technology or network infrastructure effectively to support its growth could result in unanticipated system disruptions, slow response times, or poor experiences for drivers, consumers, merchants, shippers, and carriers. To manage the growth of the operations and personnel and improve the technology that supports their business operations, as well as its financial and management systems, disclosure controls and procedures, and internal controls over financial reporting, Uber has to commit substantial financial, operational, and technical resources. Freight is one of its high growth offerings, and one of the challenges Uber faces is timely and appropriately designing controls in response to evolving risks of material misstatement. Additionally, if carriers choose not to offer their services through the Uber Freight platform or elect to use other brokers, Uber may lack a sufficient supply of carriers in specific geographic markets to attract shippers to the platform. Additionally, as things expand, as this segment grows, they need to expand operations and hire additional qualified personnel in an efficient manner in response to that growth. And finally, it faces insurance risks, higher coverage rates based on the number of drivers they have, the number of the sorts of freights and the very various activities and miles that come along with driving long distances are going to up those higher coverage rates, and as well as just expose them to more insurance risks. Before diving a little bit deeper into the analysis, it's kind of important to look over its progress since its initial launch. So first, let's start with the initial launch. It initially launched in August of 2017 and expanded to other areas in North America: California, Arizona, Illinois, Georgia, and the Carolinas. Focused on growing into regions that had high freight volumes and regions that would create more earning opportunities for drivers. Additionally, it designed a personalized load matching feature that learned drivers' preferences based on the loads they've chosen in the past. And again, really with this focus of the goal was to connect drivers with good opportunities, even when they were on the road in the middle of an opportunity. Then in 2018, they really just focused on expanding throughout the continental United States. Really, Uber Freight started to see a lot of its success in 2019. 2019, it reported a $100 million increase in gross bookings, pushing it to $223 million in bookings. Additionally, the freight division, the loads in the freight division increased by more than 100% year over year. And they added more features like facility ratings that embedded into their platform. And they also expanded globally into places like the Netherlands, Germany, Poland, Canada. In 2020, Uber Freight focused on adding a lot more features to their platform. Things like price alerts, flatbed 7-day pricing, live ETAs, shipment ratings, billing page, referral programs, all these types of things, many of which were in response to customer feedback. Additionally, it expanded its enterprise offerings by adding several direct API integration partners through strategic alliances, which will be discussed later. And finally, that gets us to today. Uber Freight recently announced a $250 million driver stimulus boost in an attempt to lure drivers back to the service as pandemic-related restrictions are lifted and riders return. And Uber Freight will take advantage of some of those stimulus and attractions to their drivers as well. And while quarter four of 2020, Uber saw a decline in a number of its segments, Uber Freight posted year-over-year growth with revenue of $288 million in quarter four, which was up about 8.6% from quarter three. Additionally, Uber made it to the top 50 freight companies in the United States, and it also has another recent expansion in its services through the market access platform. Just to spend a couple minutes analyzing some of Uber Freight's big positives for the business. First of all, is a focus on its customer relationships. Its sole focus is on an easy to use app that is beneficial to both shippers and as well as carriers. And part of these relationships, aside from just providing such an easy to use product, is Uber's responsiveness to that feedback. One example is through the use of reefer trailers, the need for refrigerated trailers for things like citrus fruit or other food related items. They quickly built in a feature in their app to where critical information like pre-cooling temperature, minimum maximum temperature, and other specifics around trailer preparation are provided in the app alongside regular booking details like equipment type, route, distance, time, and price. And carriers on the Uber Freight app are able to see the information they need to determine whether or not a refrigerated load is right for them upfront, and then book it on the spot and not have to deal with changes in their rate afterwards. Additionally, Uber Freight had originally focused on the carriers and drivers, and then it introduced a platform that delivered powerful technology to shippers so they could utilize it. Features like instant pricing and fast tendering, things like Lane Explorer, where it can look at rates up to 14 days in advance, real-time tracking, freight insights, where shippers can see quantifiable metrics on their shipping operations all in one dashboard, facility ratings, and streamlined document management were all changes made to make the app more friendly to shippers. Additionally, the in-app bidding was a huge request from its customers, which it quickly built into its app. And finally, the map view, which showed available loads near a carrier's current location, just like a navigation app where users can type in any pickup location. It was a big thing that its customers were interested in, and they implemented quickly into their app. And finally, quality. Quality is a big thing for Uber, providing top quality and easy to use product. And it's something that makes their product stand out and makes their platform stand out from others. There are a few ways that Uber really ensures that their quality is high. And first and foremost, it's through carrier compliance and monitoring. The vetting process and managing access to the platform is one way that they ensure quality on their carriers' part. And they also have transparent performance standards, on-time performance, last-time cancellations, tracking automation, things like that are standards that Uber holds their drivers to, their carriers to, and it's transparent. Their shippers are able to see that. And finally, Uber provides clear rewards and penalties for performance, which helps ensure a certain level of quality in its products. Finally, Uber has really used strategic alliances in its freight segment to really further their business, both in terms of its shippers and its carriers. And I'll quickly run through some of these just so you have an idea of what they are. Its partnership with Stride Health helps to make affordable health insurance options available to the Uber Freight carriers, drivers, dispatchers, and their families. The Uber Freight Plus program provides eligible carriers with a wide range of discounts on the products and services carriers need, like tires, fuel, mobile phone plans, truck purchases, and more. Mercury Great is a TMS provider that provides users instant visibility into Uber Freight's real-time pricing and guaranteed capacity for their freight lanes. The LG Power Loop partnership was a partnership to help LG streamline their operations, and Uber Freight is its top carrier. It helped make their logistics smoother and streamline their supply chain, and were able to plan ahead, optimize their annual spend, and improve customer relations. Samsara is the purpose of that partnership was to offer discounted ELDs and fleet management software. Oracle was designed to give shippers more flexibility and control over their operations. Uber wanted to expand its array of direct API integrations with the transportation management systems they already rely on. Blue Yonder is a leading AI ML supply chain provider. The goal was to power the dynamic pricing discovery solution, delivers instant market-based pricing to shippers, enabling them to make fast decisions and operate their businesses in real time. Intuit integrates QuickBooks online accounting software directly into Uber Freight with a seamless API. It enables auto invoicing from Uber platform users that uses QuickBooks Online, improving invoicing timeliness, review, tracking, and payments. And finally, Keep Truckin' is a fleet management technology company. The goal is to help improve load tracking. And by integrating directly with Keep Trucking via API, Uber's enhanced their tracking capabilities and the ability to provide accurate ETAs for shippers so they have around-the-clock insight into the loads they ship with Uber Freight.
Hi, my name is Chris, and I'll be talking about the next section, which is Advanced Technology Segment, or Uber ATG. In 2015, Uber created this ATG segment, which was responsible for developing and commercializing autonomous vehicles and other ride-sharing technologies. Uber ATG began with only 50 employees specializing in robotics and has grown to a 1,200-person unit, which operates in Pittsburgh, San Francisco, and Toronto. As of December 2020, Uber owns 86.2% of ATG and has gained financial assistance by selling 13.8% to investors such as Toyota, SoftBank, and Zenzo. So why was ATG started? Well, Uber realized that there's a need to offer AV technologies on the platform in order to gain a competitive advantage. In their annual report, they quote, "If we fail to offer autonomous vehicle technologies on our platform, or fail to offer such technologies on our platform before our competitors, or if such technologies fail to perform as expected, are inferior to those of our competitors, or are perceived as less safe to those of our competitors or non-AVs, our financial performance and prospects could be adversely impacted." We created a SWOT analysis to analyze Uber's ATG segment. The strengths: achieve sustained competitive advantage if able to create and own AV technologies. Weaknesses: fail to develop and launch AV would be extremely harmful to financial performance. Opportunities: AV industry is rapidly developing and gaining societal acceptance. Lastly, threats: governmental regulations could limit or delay the ability to achieve AV technology. Like I mentioned before, Uber has sold about 13% of the ATG segment. Uber themselves have invested $5.75 billion into the segment, but they have other investors such as Toyota, Zenzo, and SoftBank, who has also invested multiple millions of dollars. This gives Uber ATG a total valuation of $7.25 billion. Here we can take a look at the financial performance of the ATG segment. You can clearly see year after year that this segment is not able to sustain itself financially. So there have been recent developments of the ATG segment since 2021. In January, Uber actually sold the segment to Aurora Innovations for approximately $4 billion. At the same time, Uber reinvested $400 million into Aurora, so they now hold 26% of the company. The Uber CEO states the sale will accelerate Uber's goal to achieve profitability on an adjusted basis by the end of 2021 as the reasoning for why they sold ATG segment. So what is the current issue with Uber's ATG segment? Well, they failed to produce their own AV technology, so they sold for a huge loss just to own 26% ownership of Aurora, a company that's in a race with many other competitors such as Tesla, Apple, Cruise, Amazon Zoom, and many more. Uber is still investing in research, development, and commercialization of AV technology, but now they do not have voting power or input in decision making. Their valuation was $7.5 billion, with them investing $5.75 billion just to sell it for $4 billion. So our recommendation for the Uber ATG segment is to stop further investments into Aurora or other AV technologies until the industry is able to develop and successfully launch commercialized self-driving vehicles, then pursue collaboration with companies. Right now, Uber needs to redirect these investments into the company's core components that have proven success and growth for the company.
Legal and regulation issues. Legal issues. The ride-sharing application Uber has seen rapid expansion. However, this expansion has been accompanied by a plethora of legal controversies. Uber's controversies range from arguably unethical business practices and strategies to sexual assault allegations and antitrust violations. Uber's enormous exposure to litigation has triggered a large variety of cases against the company. Among related issues are background checks for drivers, reports from drivers to regulatory authorities, drivers' alleged discrimination against blind people, and the physical assault of customers. Numerous disputes are awaiting a final decision on whether drivers can sue Uber in a court of law or whether they need to resort to arbitration, since drivers' contracts contain an arbitration clause which drivers were forced to sign prior to coming to work as the company. In the United States, which has the largest number of cases and class action lawsuits against Uber on record, the 6 cases below have been in the news in the last few years. Settlements of 10, 20, and undisclosed sexual assault settlements highlight the legal issues that Uber has had in the last 4 years. It is well known that Uber has taken a cavalier approach with respect to regulatory and compliance issues. In 2012, then CEO Travis Kalanick lamented, "Every city we go to, eventually the regulators will make something up to keep us from rolling out or continuing our businesses." This sentiment appears to pervade Uber to this day, underlying the company's adversarial relationship with regulators around the world. This April, tensions between Uber and regulators have no end in sight, and in fact appear to be escalating. Uber responded in adversarial fashion when faced with 2 disruptive lawsuits regarding regulations in both New York and California. Regulatory and legal issues aside, Uber is still advancing forward with 3 new features, including a ride-hailing software, self-driving technology, and a booking app. Conclusion and segment summaries. Mobility segment summary. The strengths of the mobility segment summary are the convenient use of the rideshare application. This is the strongest current segment of the company, the only facet of the company that makes a profit, and is currently partnered with Titans Apple Music, American Express, and Tesla. Weaknesses of the mobility segment are the COVID impact, less riders, and drivers' safety concerns. We have the legal weakness that we discussed a few slides earlier, employees instead of independent contractors, as well as the operational risks associated with the logistics to expand into other countries. Delivery segment summary. The delivery segment is by far the greatest asset and currently has the most opportunity for growth. Uber Eats is a convenient mobile application to order food. During the pandemic, Uber Eats experienced substantial growth due to people having to order food from home. This growth is expected to continue once the pandemic is over. Some weaknesses of the delivery segment are that Uber Eats remains unprofitable despite revenue growth. $4.8 billion in 2020 alone. Margins are impacted by restaurant fees, and Uber Eats is still not making a profit. Freight segment summary. The strengths of the freight segment are an easy-to-use app where loads are available across the country 24/7 with the logistical capacity to maximize results across numerous supply chains. It's a streamlined process for the logistics industry. However, due to the nature of freight hauling and the liability associated with over-the-road trucking, there is a higher risk of accidents and thus higher insurance rates. The operating structure of a startup launch company to obtain the controlled growth that Uber is looking for has been challenging due to the lack of qualified drivers and personnel to be associated with these tasks. Advanced Technology Segment Summary. The Advanced Technology segment has strengths associated with a rapidly developing industry. Uber has secured strategic partnerships and investments with major firms such as Uber, Toyota, Denso, and SoftBank Vision Fund. A weakness of the Advanced Technology segment is it takes away from other segments of the business. In addition, the Advanced Technology segment has experienced strong profit losses in its early inception. Overall, the future of Uber looks very strong. Uber is constantly evolving into different markets, exploiting different resources and different logistical capabilities associated with their core businesses. Legal and regulatory issues aside, Uber has always charged forward with one mission: advance and become the most streamlined, efficient company in the United States of America and abroad.